Hello, my name is Dr. Rick Farr, and I am the instructor for this course. And I want to tell you a little bit about myself, because I'm actually going to ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself as one of your first assignments. So here's a little bit about me. I was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan in 1968, so you can do the math if you want to know how old I am. So Grand Rapids is kind of on the western side of the state in the Lower Peninsula, kind of directly west from Detroit, which is on the east side of the state. I spent most of my childhood, actually into my early 20s, in western Michigan, or West Michigan, in Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, and Holland. It was a really good place to grow up. I think it's a much better place now, actually, since I've left. There's a bit of a downturn in a lot of Midwestern cities, especially mid-sized cities, in the 70s and 80s, and then things started turning back up in the 90s and early 2000s, and Grand Rapids is a really cool city now. But even when I was growing up there, it was nice. There's a lot to do, with the Great Lakes and the beaches and the water. Very family-oriented, very education-oriented area. So, yeah, I had a good time as a kid. You can see winters there are kind of rough. Definitely not the same. I'm pretty sure the picture of the snow is my neighbor digging out from his house. So, when I was recalling some of the snow we got, I'm like, I remember not being able to see over like the depth of the snow. I didn't know if that was because I was just, younger and shorter, but no, there was a lot of snow. We had a few years where we had a lot of snow. I'm married, and I married my wife Cheryl in 2001. We met in graduate school. She is a high school chemistry science teacher at Centennial in Pueblo. We have two daughters, Allison and Kylie, both who are in college. Allison's the older one. She's a junior in college this year, and Kylie's a freshman in college, both out of state. Very interesting that, they came from the same parents but are vastly different kids, vastly different personalities. They definitely went head to head a bit when they were younger, but now they definitely are very close and definitely communicate with each other quite a bit. When one needs a little pick me up, that would be who they would call. So, but it's been a great time as parents watching them go from babies to where they are now. We also have 2 dogs and 3 cats. Honestly, I grew up only with dogs. I've learned to deal with cats. And we have, like I said, 3 cats, 2 dogs. The 2 dogs are Coda and Indy. Coda's a German Shepherd mix, probably pit mix actually. And Indy's a Black Lab and I think pit mix. But they're both a lot of fun, a lot of high energy dogs. So they get us out and keep me running or walking. And the cats are cats. They lay around the house and they don't do a lot, but they definitely have their own personalities too. I'm the oldest of 4. I have 2 sisters and a brother. So I'm the oldest. My oldest sister Pam, who you can see on the slide here, the taller one, is 2 years younger than I am. My brother's 4 years younger than I am. That's him and his wife at Rocky Mountain National Park. And my youngest sister is 12 years younger than I am. All of them are married. All of them have children. My brother's also a chemist. He's a PhD chemist. He works for a pharmaceutical in North Carolina. My oldest sister's a lawyer still in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And my younger sister's a psychologist in Ohio. So we have terminal degrees. Education was top of everything when I was a kid. Both my parents were teachers. it came from my grandparents. Honestly, they were very much proponents of education. I think only one of my grandparents actually had a college degree, so they really pushed that, which was good. Um, I did lose my mother to cancer 21 years ago. She had breast cancer, which was treated, and then 10 years later it had come back metastasized basically throughout her body, and we lost her, like I said, 21 years ago before my oldest daughter was born. And then my oldest sister, actually battled breast cancer also, and has come through with, as of now, a clean bill of health. So we're very fortunate. I went to Aquinas College, which is a small liberal arts college in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Studied math and chemistry, did some other things, did a bit of computer science, was also interested in biology, but ended up with math and chemistry degrees. I was an athlete in a couple sports, did soccer for a couple years, and then played volleyball for all 4 years. It was good. I don't think I was ready to be at a big school, and it allowed me to do basically everything I wanted to do, so it was a good choice for me. While I was there, I studied for a semester in Ireland, and honestly, I highly recommend, if you have a chance to study overseas. Doesn't have to be a semester, but if you get a chance to go somewhere, even for a couple weeks, I would highly recommend it. If you have questions on that, please feel free to reach out. But that's honestly why I am here today. Not alive today, but like in Colorado today. It definitely changed me as a person. I did work full time while going to school and playing sports. I worked with the campus safety department, the public safety department on campus. I was both an officer and a dispatcher. So if you're working full time and doing this, I totally get it. I get it, and you'll get through it. It takes a bit out of you, but you'll get through it, and you'll be better for it. After I graduated, I worked at a company called Perigo, which makes healthcare products and over-the-counter pharmaceuticals. So, like, if you go into, like Walgreens and you pick up a bottle of ibuprofen and it's Walgreens brand, Perigo probably made it. So we made all that stuff for all the different places: Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, all that. It's called off-brand, but it's basically the same stuff. After a few years working in industry, my brother was graduating from college, and he was applying to graduate schools. And at the time, I was starting to move up in the company. I'm like, if I don't go to graduate school now, I'm going to be getting paid too much to change and go back to school. So I decided to apply to graduate schools. Ultimately ended up in Boston at Boston College. Did as a PhD student, you basically take a year of classes, maybe a year and a half of classes, and then you spend the rest of the time, 5 or 6 total years doing research. And I did research in laser spectroscopy, imaging, and photochemistry. And honestly, it was a lot of fun. Being able to do cutting edge research with all the tools you need is pretty good experience. And living in Boston as a student was awesome. After graduating, I stayed on at Boston College for a few years and did a postdoc, doing some different research. And then I did some adjunct teaching for a year at 2 schools in Boston, Pine Manor College, which is no longer a college. It got bought by another college called Babson College, and Emmanuel College. That's still around, both in Boston. And then while I was doing that, I was applying for full-time positions, and ultimately ended up at CSU Pueblo in 2006, and obviously I've been here since. Honestly, was great to, growing up in Michigan and living in Boston, coming out west, and being part of what the West has to offer. A lot more sunlight, but just different stuff. I'm an outdoors person, so it was awesome being in the Northeast and the Midwest, and now being in the West where there's just different climate and different things to see has been really cool. And CSU's been really cool. So I'm very happy with my choice. On August 1st, 2008, after I'd been, at CSU Pueblo for just under 2 years, I had a heart attack. While I was out riding my bike really early one morning, and I had a heart attack. And I'm 39 years old. Really wasn't expecting this, but definitely got all the classical symptoms. Kind of numbness in the arms, pain in the arms. Lost all energy to ride the bike. So I was about 5 miles out from my house, and there's no houses around. So I'm like, okay, I gotta pedal home, figure this out. I'm still alive, so I rode home. I'm all sweaty. I'm I should probably take a shower before I go to the hospital. Don't do this. So I took a shower, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to tell my wife, hey, I need to go to the hospital. There's something wrong. So I did finally tell her, and she freaked out a little bit, but was pretty good. We dropped our 2 kids off at a neighbor's house, and I went down to Parkview, walked in, said, I'm having heart issues, chest pain, and they got me back there immediately. They were really good, and I had what's called an arterial dissection. It's where the inner lining of your artery tears. So my clot wasn't formed, or the heart attack wasn't from a clot. It was that the lining tore, and as I was riding with the bike, the blood pressure went up and just kept tearing it, and at some point tore it enough that it was blocking blood flow. Fortunately, it wasn't major artery. Clearly, I've recovered from it. I lost a small percentage of my heart, but it's been quite a while, so I'm doing pretty well. Then in 2018, while on a vacation in West Virginia, I ruptured a full rupture of my quadricep tendon while I was hiking a little bit. So went to the hospital out there. They said, this is what happened. You can have surgery here or go home. I decided to come home, have surgery, and honestly, that knee is in way better shape than my other knee, or it's in better shape than it was. After years of sports and just beating the hell out of my body, going in and repairing things actually made it a lot better. So I would prefer not to have done it in West Virginia, but things turned out pretty well for that too, unfortunately. I have a lot of hobbies. Way less, not enough time to do all the things I like. Love being outdoors, hiking, biking, camping, things like that. Love photography. Love to read. Like I said, in college, I did quite a bit of computer stuff, so I did a lot of coding, and I'm trying to get back into doing some more coding. Love music. Actually, I'm an absolute awful musician, so I've got a guitar, a piano, and I suck at both of them. Fortunately, my wife and my daughters are really good at music, so I'm trying to learn. I also love to cook and to eat. Honestly, I love cooking. So, and that's really about me. If there's anything else you want to know, just ask, or if there's any questions you have, please ask.